Hey everybody, back with another video. I'm going to just document trying to fix my pole position. It's been kind of down for a long time, and honestly it hasn't been super reliable even since I picked it up, which was one of the first games like 7 years ago or more at this point. I've never really gave it a good cleaning or anything really. I think I might have worked on the monitor. I know I worked on the pedal. I did a video of restoring or refurbishing that pedal down there, and it's unreliable, so let's power it on. Let's see here if I can get the see if it boots up. I did get it to boot up last night at least once. So we just get a blue screen. So let me see if I can get it to actually boot and play real quick. Alright, I'm at the back of the cabinet. I got a spotlight on. What's kind of interesting is I don't know how often I've seen a 4600 monitor that's horizontal. Usually all the times I see a 46 it's vertical. This definitely looks like it was swapped in there because you can see they cut the monitor power. And this kind of looks a little hokey right there as far as doing the sync line right there. This was previously done as well on, they had wired up some extra ground and they cut it off the edge connector. I don't think this is the original board set. I don't know. I have two board sets. And so here is just an extra ground. I did repin the ground in plus 5 volts for both of those connectors and made it so you can, like, you know, quickly disconnect them and everything. So that part is relatively new. Let's see if you can see in there. Yeah, I also must have replaced that fuse holder, but I don't remember taking this thing out, and it still it's dirty in here. It needs to be cleaned out and stuff like that. So let me see if I can power this thing on, and there's two big blue capacitors, and maybe I'll measure ripple voltage real quick. That might be something we can do real quick in the back of the cabinet. Alright, no, you probably can't see this, but maybe you can see it. Let's see. I got my positive side on the 10 volt unregulated and my ground on the ground, and we are going to measure, let's see here, we're going to measure AC. There we go. So let's power that on. And it's about 0.2. I think as long as it's lower than 0.5, we should be okay, if I'm recalling correctly. I think that's the case, yeah. So ripple voltage isn't too bad. Let me power it off and check the other one, the other power supply. There's actually two AR2s in here. I haven't done a thing to either one of them. Alright, I reseated the connector. I did check the ripple voltage on both ARs, and it's 0.2 on both of them on the 10 volt unregulated. I did also, if I can stand up here, test 5 volts on the far side of the board. We're getting good 5 volts everywhere from what I can tell on both the CPU board and the video board. Let's give it one more go. See if we get anything to boot up. After reseating that connector. I played it last night. I got it to boot up, but I don't know exactly what the problem is. Alright, I got the board at the bench, and I have to make up you know, an adapter and stuff. So I'm going to wire up video, power to the video board, and at least power to the CPU board. and maybe like the test switch, but very minimal stuff that I'm going to wire up for right now. Alright, that's not exciting. So, but anyway, I'm going to do that. Be right back. Alright, I hacked up enough to get this thing powered up. Got some 5 volts going to my JAMA adapter. Got my video going. I also am using my other output of my power supply, and I'm hooking up directly into the test points for 5 volts. So should have plenty of 5 volts, and I'm balancing it obviously on the board. And that looks pretty darn good. There's my high score. Green, that's supposed to be gray, okay. I don't see anything wrong with it. So we must have a power situation inside the game. So that's good news. But I do have another board set right over here that I need to mess with too. So I think I will complete the test harness and stuff so I can spray the boards out, or spread the boards out. But it looks like it's working, which is nice. It's good to be able to power on real quick on the bench and just verify that we got something going on in the cabinet. Alright, it's working. I just put it back in the cabinet, and the only thing that I changed, was really retinning. I didn't show that, but retinning the edge connector on the CPU board. I didn't even touch the video board, but on the CPU board, I removed the extra solder there and then retinned it and wiped it so it was nice and thin, I guess. And there was no extra solder buildup on the pad, but it's working right now. So I got it working last night as well, but let me give it some time and see if it stays working. I wonder if it was an edge connector issue. Alright, it's probably a week later, and actually it's a Saturday, and Friday night I was playing this, and I was playing it fine, it was working. So let's see if it still works. And I do think it might be my edge. There you go, booted right up. I do think it might be my edge connector on my video board. But I'm not sure. I left it on for probably a few hours last night. The graphics started to kind of get a couple glitches here and there, nothing major. But yeah, it's working. So I did take this opportunity though to fix my bench setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these boards out and see if they power up fine on the bench, and I'll explain why when I get there. Okay, so I have the boards out of the cabinet on the bench, and the thing, I had to wire up this 60 pin to lay them flat. I had to wire up like 60 of these connections here. What is it, 30 on this side and 30 on that side? No, actually more than that, because it's 60 on this side, 120 solder connections. I'm a pain in the butt, and that's a lot of damn wire to connect that. I was watching Classic Arcade Repair, Sean, or Arcade Doc, and he was having some weird issues when he did this on his bench. So I've well, I'll try it anyway, even though it might not work. I also have some extra 5 volts to the CPU board, as well as to the, actually that's my only voltage is right here to the graphics board. I only have the video wired up on that adapter, and I just have power up on here. So it's just power and video out and the interconnect. The other thing that was interesting, and I've seen this on other pole position boards, is this blue wire, these jumpers. I think this might be a factory thing where they have this, a capacitor, some resistors, and some wire. I've seen this on other boards. I'm going to look into that and come back. All right, but let's see if this powers up on the bench. And it, oh, no. Does it? Not really. So, it doesn't. All right. All right, I put the original Interconnect connector on there, and the board boots up fine. So, yep, just like classic arcade repair, I'm not able, maybe it's the delay interaction between the two boards. If it goes over too long of wires, it might not work. I'm going to try it again just to verify, but that kind of sucks because I really wanted to troubleshoot the boards laying flat, and that was a lot of work. Alright, wacky, it's kind of working, but not really. I'm going to power it off and power it on again. And look at this boot up sequence. It's too slow. There it goes. Now, blue screen. Maybe my edge connector, my card edge is dirty. Because that's what I was getting before in the cabinet, just a blue screen. Just messing with the cable here. Nothing. Okay, I'm gonna clean the card edge there because I just got it to boot, but it looked wacky. All right, I cleaned it up there. Let's see. See, that doesn't look good, right? But will it do something? No. Oh. Did something. This is not anything we wanted. Went to blue screen. And I know it would boot up with this thing. Interesting. Oh. I don't have my power connected here. Let's give it some extra power. It's like the game's running, but we don't have any graphics. Damn, that sucks, because I don't want to... I might give up on this. Yeah, see? It's working. I can't leave it on because I got the music playing, but now it's working fine. Alright, I've been experimenting with trying to power this board up on the bench, and I think that maybe we have some sockets. I don't know. I don't think it's this interconnect cable preventing it. So now it looks like it might boot up here, but it's taking a little bit longer than normal probably. Or you don't see it booting up. It's almost like it's trying. Oh, there it goes. Now, was it up? Yeah. Something's going on that has to do with, the board either be flexing it or something else, or the power is a little bit different. Let me try it one more time. Without touching anything. See, it's like it's trying to boot up. Just waiting. I know you can barely see it. I wanted to try to keep, and then boom. Does it boot? Nope, now we have blue screen. See, after all of that. Now if I just touch the board a little bit, and it worked. So is there some variable here just with the connector? But it works fine now. As you can see, there's no graphic glitches, so I don't think it is this. I don't think it's my little harness over here, because there's no graphic glitches like the arcade part. What was it? Classic Arcade Repair channel. He had some issues potentially using that type of harness interconnect, but I don't see any issues on mine once I get it to boot. But it's slow to boot, and I think it could be the sockets or the chips or something going on down here, down this way. But it doesn't appear there's any graphic glitches. You can see the cars in the background, but it's kind of like, I think that's normal that you see it, like the animations happening in the background. Alright, the other thing that was interesting, and I did just power it up, and it eventually booted, but it just seems like it's taking a while on the bench, and I don't know exactly why. But one of the things, I have extra power wired up to this, and what I wanted to do is just kind of show some of the differences in voltage readings across the board. So here on the main CPU board, you have multiple pull-ups or test points for 5 volts in ground, and you often on pole position you'll see people wire extra connections. 5.08 volts there, and if I come over here to this capacitor, .1. So I'm getting like 5.1 real close to where my power is coming into the board, and it's already some voltage drop. And when this is in the cabinet, typically you only have the voltage at the edge connector. And let's see, actually I can take this off. Let me do that. Game's still running. Just to show a difference. So this board now, the CPU board's only getting power from over by the, let's see, right there by the edge connector there. It's hard for me to kind of see everything. Whoops. There we go. How about that? Back it up some. Alright, so I'll come over here to, where's my ground at? Close to the edge connector. We'll measure voltage. We got 4.9 volts at the edge, basically almost near the edge connector. And then if I come to this far side of the board, .953. It's actually not too bad, but obviously I'm not getting much voltage through the edge connector. .955. Let me take these clips off. .953 compared to, well, you can't really see it, my arms are in the way. I'm in a bad spot. Yeah, almost just a tenth of a volt, not that big of a deal. So that's interesting. Let me power off and power back on real quick. Alright, we're going to power off and turn power back on. See, it's doing something. You can tell the CPU is doing something. Obviously, I'm not getting super, and then boom, that's when I know it's starting to boot. Boop, works. So the board is booting up, even without the extra power. On this board, I don't have any power on the edge connector. So that's kind of interesting. But it seems to be booting almost every time, just seems a little slow. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to clean this board. I'm going to remove the chips. I'm going to clean legs. I'm going to check the sockets and potentially even replace them. One of the things is these Z80 002s or Z8000s, I guess is what you call them. I'm not sure. These things get pretty hot. Yeah, the temperature is pretty warm on these things, and so I might actually replace those sockets. The other stuff, I don't know if this actually means anything, the heat has anything to do with it, but you know, if they run hot, maybe those sockets are typically worse off. These customs do not run hot, and I don't have a thermal imaging camera, but we could take a temperature reading on it just to see. I'm just kind of curious because I want to make sure that my bench setup is super reliable, because I do have some boards that I need to fix. And then if I know they're booting up super reliable on the bench, then we know that, you know, my problem is in the cabinet if it's not booting up. Okay, so I have all the chips off the board, and I am going to, you know, wash this with some toilet bowl cleaner, and then I'm going to replace sockets. But I just want to show, hopefully in the light, or maybe not in the light. Let's see here. That's pretty bad. I mean, some of these sockets are not good at all. They're very dirty. Those are for the Z8000s. That's the Z80 right there. These are the customs, and you can see there's a couple broken cross members there. So I don't know how many sockets. I'm going to first give it a cleaning, and then we'll go from there. I don't know how many sockets I'm going to replace. I'm just based off of the way it looks, I'm thinking the Z8000s and maybe the customs. But to give you an idea, that's what somebody must have replaced, the two RAM chips. And it does look like there was some solder work done on this bipolar prom there. As you can see, there's definitely some heat damage. I don't know, maybe they didn't replace it, but there's definitely some heat issues going on there. And that's where the solder work for the replacement RAM. So let me go ahead and just clean this board up, see what we can do with it. Alright, I have the board out. I blew it dry with a compressor and then put it under the fan for about 20 minutes. I'm sure it's dry, but the sockets look much better. So I'm not going to replace them just yet. I am going to put some deoxit on them, and I actually like, let me pause real quick. Alright, I like this deoxit instead of the spray because it comes with a little brush, and then I'm just going to brush, you know, on to the chips. So it's not too much. I'm just putting it on the chips. The other thing is you can use this one, which has a little needle, and then I can do it that way too. Like, this might be better for brushing the legs. Maybe I'll use this one to do the sockets. And it's better, it's less messy than that big spray. And then I'm also going to clean the legs of all these chips with a Dremel, and then coat them with deoxit to try to help preserve them a little bit. Because you can see, like this one here. Now this one I could put into, oh gosh, Tarnex, because these legs are probably silver. But honestly, I still like using the Dremel, I think, the best, but alright. Some people say you shouldn't use it. I saw Arcade Jason showed like how much faster they'll deteriorate, I guess, if you use the Dremel and take off the protective coating, but whatever. I don't care at this point. Okay, so I Dremeled every chip. I used this right here, this deoxit with the little needle, and just put deoxit on all of the chips. And it took me about 40 minutes basically to do that for all the chips. So anyway, I have no idea if this is going to make a difference or not, like cleaning all the sockets and deoxit and cleaning the legs, but I'm curious to know if this is going to improve things. So let's hook it back up and find out. Alright, here we go. Turning it on for the first time after washing the board and everything with you guys. So I checked all the chips. The orientation's correct. And let's fire it up. Oh, that doesn't look good. It says RAM 1, RAM 3. Alright. Getting some weirdness here. RAM 28, RAM 20, RAM 3. Interesting. So we're worse off, it looks like. Look at it, it's doing all types of craziness. Alright, unfortunately I didn't get to show you, but I got it to boot, and all I did was lift up on this board right here. And then it just booted for some reason. So again, I don't know exactly. At least we didn't do any more damage, but it's definitely a kind of still flaky down here, and I don't know why. But I can't get it. If I move the board just like this, I can't get it to do anything bad. Let's power it back on, off and on. See. Oh, and I just shook the board and it's booting. I don't know. Damn. Well, let's put it in the cabinet, I guess, and see. But I'm trying to figure out, like, is it this connector? I don't know why it's kind of slow to boot up. Maybe there's a problem in the reset circuit or something. Does not make sense. Alright, I'm just going to toggle the reset circuit here real quick and then show you guys what it's doing. I don't know if on power off. Let me power it off here real quick. See, it's not quite happy, but then it goes. Nope, then it stopped, probably reset. I might need to put my scope on this just to see if it's resetting right here. After those errors, and then, bloop, RAM okay, ROM okay, it flashed up there. Yeah, this might not have anything to do with the board or the sockets. It might have to do with the reset circuit. And maybe that's why sometimes... No, does that make sense? I have to think about this a little bit more. It's not power. The game obviously runs, but why is it not booting up consistently every time? Could it be this cable here? Maybe, but I'm not sure, because it's been acting up in the cabinet too. Alright, I'm just messing with my bench test setup. I wired up my test switch and I wired up the sound, but on my PVM I have to have it on input A, so which now is going to just be black and white, obviously. but we should hear the sound here in a second, at least the starting sound. I have one sound I think hooked up, and I'm using the amplifier on my PVM to amplify the sound. So here we go. That's our starting sound, and if I press my, let's go back to RGB, go to test. So I get some weird RAM messages there. Maybe this is the my interconnect there, and it's like just not quite, the timing is not just quite right. There we go. And then it says RAM OK, ROM OK. I have to wire up my manual start, so it'll start if I coin up, and I gotta wire up my coin and stuff. Anyway, just showing some progress. I do, for some reason, I think that RAM test, and then there's some resets that are going on, and then like the Z80 here boots up the system, and then it boots up the two Z8002s, and it probably does a RAM check onto the video board to make sure that it can reach the video board, and whatever's going on there, the timing is just probably off a little bit with this, you know, splayed out like that with the interconnect between the two boards. I don't know, but there's no graphic glitches once it boots up, so I'm still not sure. I'm gonna keep messing around with it. All right, look at this nonsense. Oh shit, just shocked myself. This is metal, because I got it on my chair. Static electricity. All right, so I've had some success wrapping some stuff in copper tape with my Fluke and some of the repo pods and stuff like that, because could be interference and stuff. Anyway, I just figured I'd wrap it up and see what we get here, if we get some more consistency. It appears that it is more consistent. Look, my test, you're not seeing that RAM stuff flash. We'll power it off. Power it back on. Definitely seems more consistent. Now, I was getting some RAM 0 and 3 and, you know, different random messages, and those are all error messages that are on the video PCB. I was never seeing like 6, 7, or 8 during that boot sequence. It seemed like definitely was something going on with the communication over that interconnect cable. So I should have probably, let me do a test again. I should have probably used some shielded cable when doing that interconnect. But it seems to be booting up a lot better with that dumb copper tape there. So I might look into a different setup going forward, because that's kind of stiff. But I think it's resolved as far as that goes. Still working on my bench setup, so. Alright, I'm just doing several cold starts here just to see. RAM 3. And it's hanging a little bit. Boom. Now it's booting. It's definitely more consistent now since I put that metal tape over the wires and stuff. So, and obviously my game's working fine. There's no graphics glitches or anything like that. Let me see how long this video is. Maybe we put it back in the cabinet. But I do have some other pole position PCBs to work on and stuff, and I still might clean up my cabinet. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, one last cold boot here, and then we'll put it in the cabinet. See, we get a RAM 3. RAM 3, RAM 3. It's trying to boot. It's trying to boot. RAM 1. I have complete faith this is going to boot up. But it is totally the bench there. And then it went. So, maybe... Yeah, I mean, maybe it's indicative of something going on with my video board, but I doubt it. I think it's just totally a bench setup, but now it consistently boots up with that copper tape on the bench. And let's put it in the cabinet and play some pole position, hopefully. Alright, I'm in the cabinet. We're going to play a game. It booted straight up, first time. I haven't really messed with the rest of the cabinet yet. And, whoops, and I don't know if I actually have my dip switch settings set correctly, so. And I'm not very good at this game. I kind of know what to do, but. God damn it. I can't believe I did that. That's terrible, by the way. Oh, shit. I never wreck on the qualifying lap. Oh, my God. I probably won't even qualify. Oh, my God, I qualified. 8th. That's terrible. God dang, they had me screwed right there. Not a good game. Let's see if I can recover somewhat. My God, look at this. Oh my gosh. Terrible. And I'm not shifting on time. Oh my. Holy cow, that is a train wreck right there. Alright. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to do some more pole position videos, so stay tuned. Thanks to Ian Kellogg for the adapters and making some of your pole position videos and stuff. That's it, guys. For this video, anyway, we're just focused on getting this game running, and I think the power supplies are fine, the board set's fine. But we do have some non-working board sets that I need to fix. So, all right, everybody, that's it.